Welcome to the squad. He's Icewater, I'm Puma, and do us a solid. Like, comment, subscribe to our channel. We're here on YouTube, Chocolate 108.1. Let's go to college football. Ohio State is still hanging in number one. Miami smacked my Florida State Seminoles. And you got Oregon at number 3. Ole Miss jumps up to number 4. Texas A&M, everybody's talking about them. They're at 5-0. Oklahoma's at 5-0. Indiana's at 5-0. The two teams that we need to talk about, because you got Alabama at 4-1, you got Texas Tech at 5-0 at number 9, you got Georgia at number 10. But the two teams that aren't there that we haven't mentioned that were picked really high, 1 and 2, I think, at the beginning of the season, Penn State and Texas. And Penn State's coach is in trouble. Let's talk about what happened to them, Ice.
Yeah, ironically, the thing about that is, for some reason or another, I turned that game on just to watch it. I was like, I know Penn State gonna blow these guys out, but it was just something about UCLA, and they made some changes, changed the offensive coordinator or the play caller, and one of the young new Heisels took over that. They have an interim coach, and I said, let me see what's going on. Turn the game on. They go up 7-0. Think they go up 14-0. I'm like, nah. But it just went on and on. I was like, are you kidding me? And the quarterback, definitely Nico that transferred from Tennessee, probably that was his best game of his life. The resume is really tight right now because of that last game. He rushed for 128 yards. He was doing all kind of things. And Penn State looked very susceptible. They were trying to come back. We thought they had the game won. And I tell you what, kudos to UCLA. I don't know if they will win another game, but they were definitely amped up for that game. And kudos to the coaches and the players because they were really amped up. So yeah, that had me really excited.
Let me point out one thing in this game, man, that really kind of made me laugh till my stomach hurt. Neuheisel didn't even know how to use his headset, bro. And he didn't even know how to use the headset, bro. You got a coach on the sidelines at UCLA. They didn't know what they were doing. That's why I said Penn State's coach is done. He's done. Franklin's done. He's done. They're out of the top 25. They are done. I mean, to start in the preseason at the number 2 spot and to get beat, 2 times badly, especially to a team that haven't won anything with an interim coach who does not even know how to use his headset. What else can you do? As an AD, what else can you do at this particular point?
Hey, 42 points to UCLA. 42. And you brought in the defensive coordinator Jim Knowles, and he's supposed to make everything right. And you give up 42 out west. The other part of it, too, is from that standpoint. You mentioned about Neuheisel didn't know how to work the headset. He didn't have to. You saw his hair. His hair was amazing. He was trying to make his own anyway. He said every time he was flowing, every time you look at it, he was. I wasn't mad at him. I said, he looked like a Greek god out there. His locks were flowing.
Some shampoo company gonna get him. Some shampoo company gonna get him.
Oh, no doubt. He was like the way he was flipping around. And he had that look like, I'm amazing, aren't I? Don't you see me? And they were winning too. Oh yeah. Now this is what's even crazier, and it just shows you that after the game, interim coach is great, walking them through it. They took Neuheisel, they put him up on their shoulders. They carried him up on the field. They didn't even take the head coach off the field. They picked up Neuheisel. They carried him off the field. I said, wow. Yeah, crazy with his locks. Yeah, he's definitely getting some commercials. He's gonna get some pubs.
Got to get commercials. I mean, I'd be in the marketing team right now. Now, how can we get them? How much it's gonna cost? And does anybody have vision boards on how we're gonna do this and how we're gonna set him up where his hair is blowing in the wind at a football game? Oh,
and his dad had lost his mind because his dad was in the studio, CBS, yeah. And his dad they said he was jumping around screaming, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I'm out of character, but I felt like I was coaching. I really did," and he's just happy for his son, and that's cool. But yeah.
So Texas, man, I'm not going to mention the station that's been pumping up Peyton, but they were pumping him up so much. And I know all of us were sick of it. We were sick of it because we were seeing that he wasn't that good. And he's proven that he's not that good. He just got the last name. And they're out of the top 25 at this particular point. And I don't think it's any way that Penn State or Texas can get into that playoff run unless everybody else just collapses.
Yeah, I'll say this about Arch Manning. I think the worst thing that the media could have done and others could have done watching this young man, they put him on such high a pedestal that when he fell short, it was a long drop,
Yep.
a very long drop. And how that the way that society and some fans are, they're so vindictive and so nasty that they don't give you a chance to kind of stumble. When you get put up on that pedestal and everybody tell you how great you are and everything like that, when he fell, and some people are calling him trash, I wouldn't go that far. I think he's a decent player. But you can't put a guy as a Heisman Trophy candidate or the number one guy and give him all this love because of who his uncles and who his grandfather is and all that stuff. And when he shows you that he's more than mediocre, if you will, with his performance, it just shows you that it's hard to fall. When he fell hard because they came after him,
Yep.
and a lot of these so-called experts were wrong. So I wouldn't throw him away. I just think it's growing pains. That's how it is. I don't care how many times they say you're a five-star or whatever. Until you get on that field, until you play with regularity, you never know. And he in spots, he played well last year, and oh, wait till he get out there. You don't know till they get out there. So it's like these preseason All Americans, until they get on the field, you never know what they're going to do. Unfortunately for him, they're struggling all the way around. He's trying, but hey, it happens. That's why they play the games.
Yeah. So next week there's some games, especially the Big Ten. It seems like the Big Ten, you don't get a break. There's a lot of ranked Big Ten teams. You got Ohio State against Illinois. You got Oregon against Indiana. You got a few more games that are going to be tantalizing to watch. What are some of the games that should stick out to the fans that are watching out there?
Definitely Indiana, Oregon, because you mentioned that because Indiana has a quarterback, everybody's in love with them, and the way that Oregon was able to defeat Penn State, what we thought who Penn State was earlier, I think that's going to be a nice matchup. They both had buys last week, right? They both had buys, so they have a time to get ramped up. It's going to be really exciting. Indiana going on the road, it's going to be interesting to see whether or not are they for real?
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to do what you did to Illinois or whatever and do what you do at home, but to go on the road against a amped up Oregon team, we're going to find out if they're for real. Ohio State, Illinois, opportunity for Illinois to try to show some redemption after what happened with Indiana. We'll see if they're ready for that. Also, Alabama plays Missouri,
Yeah.
Missouri on the road. And I want to see if Alabama is still going to stay where they're at, going on the road. It's a couple other games. Red River Shootout, even though it's not as big as it was, you still got to look at Oklahoma, Texas.
Yeah.
Because what if Texas gets hot and they win that game? Everything is kind of turned around for them a little bit. An opportunity. See a couple other ones from the standpoint of just because two more. No, two nice young quarterbacks, Nebraska versus Maryland. I definitely want to see that. I like Malik Washington out of Maryland, even though they lost to Washington last week at home. Let him come back. I still like the way that he plays. And last but not least, as you mentioned before, people were talking a lot about Texas A&M. They host Florida. I think Florida is like, okay, we may not beat the big teams, and then we may struggle, but damn it, I'll be damned if these little average teams don't come in here. And what better way for Florida to receive some major redemption by taking down Texas A&M?
It seems like Florida wants to be spoilers because they're
Yeah,
not going to make the playoffs, but they could be spoilers and beat some good teams and spoiling their season. So I like that attitude that they're taking, and they did it in their last game. Took out a team that they weren't supposed to take out, and if they could just use that energy to do that, they will salvage that season, and they'll salvage that coach's job if they could do that. Let's go to Major
yeah,
League Baseball, the playoffs, and I keep saying this every year, and you used to get on me about this about Aaron Judge and Stanton, but they are not postseason players. They clam up, they go away. They're already in Cancun, and I was surprised they got past Boston, But I've been saying this for years. Toronto and Tampa Bay have their number. I don't see them. They're down 0-2 to Toronto. I don't see them coming back. I don't care if they are coming to the Big Apple. And I'm a big time Yankee fan, but I'm realistic. If Judge and Stanton do not play, they have no chance on going anywhere, and they haven't shown up to play. You can see it in their eyes; they're starstruck, and the moment's too big. You know, all season everybody's been talking about Aaron Judge this, and he's a Babe Ruth, and he's beating Babe Ruth's record, and blah blah blah. And I said nothing. And Pop would tease me all the time because I would call him. He's like, "Well, Aaron Judge did this," and I'm like, "Let's wait until the playoffs and see what he does in the playoffs," because I don't anticipate it. The moment's too big for these guys, and I was the only one saying, and I took a lot of crap for it when it was up for Aaron Judge was up for his contract. Let him go. He's not going to win you any World Series. Let him go. San Diego is trying to get him. You see what's happening in San Diego? They got a team full of talent, and they can't get out the first round. Can't get out the first round because the game is too big for them. And I was really disappointed in the Padres this year. And then Maldonado wanted to get upset at a reporter asking a legitimate question about how would you rank this season? What do you come away with this season? You making all that money and you can't produce. So I'm tired of all these, maybe it's my soapbox now. I'm tired of all these players getting lifetime contracts, 700, $800 million, and they can't, when the lights are on and it's time to perform in October, they're already gone. They're not there. They finished the season. They figure like I did my job.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing your soapbox. I'll say this that it's hard for certain other fans that have are fans of other teams to feel sorry for you as a Yankees fan.
Don't feel sorry.
Even what
I don't want you to
no, but
feel.
I'm just saying, even what you just mentioned, even when you mentioned about Judge and Stanton and whatnot playing the way that they do, when you continually go to the World Series every year. Now this year it looks like it's going to be different. They're probably going to be eliminated in this round. But when you make it, even though they are playing subpar, as you mentioned, it's hard for people to feel some kind of way, and it's hard for people to roll over and listen to your point because they keep going to the World Series. And it's like, even if they're paying for it, they're making it. Now, this year, when they fall short, I'm gonna give you kudos. Everybody's gonna go, yeah, Puma, you on it. But when you keep going to the World Series, it's just like I told you with the Dodgers. Every year, it's just a cash machine, ATM, unlimited cash. People were like, I hear you talking about, well, they're not any good, but you keep going to the World Series until this year, right? They won't make it. Now people go, all right, Puma, we feeling you. But hell, 3, 4 years in a row, ain't nobody feeling you when you talk about judging them. Look, people are like this, and you complaining, and you go to the World Series, you look at the Reds and some other teams that wish they was even could get into the playoffs. Reds finally got there. People not feeling your pain, but I understand what you're saying. But I'm just telling you from a different perspective. People look at things differently. But when you look at some of the other series that are going on, excited about also the other American League series between Seattle and Detroit. That's 1-1. They're playing some good baseball. I like both of those teams. They play real hard. In the NL, the Dodgers, the money machine, ATM, or the other old cash machine over there, is up one on the Phillies right now. So I think they're playing right now as well at this moment as we speak.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers were up. And also in the National League, Milwaukee versus the Cubs. The Cubs they advanced.
Yeah.
I love it. The
Yeah,
Cubs
yeah.
advanced.
And I kept telling people all year the Cubs are really good. I don't know if they can get past the Brewers. And remember, we were talking maybe a couple of weeks ago, the Tigers, they were like fizzling out. And then all of a sudden they came and they won that wild card. And Javi, I got to give hats off to him because he was playing his behind off in that series. And now that series is tied 1-1. And so, man, I mean, they just turned a light switch on in Detroit and just started playing some great baseball. And I was kind of shocked at that because I thought they just kind of gassed out at the end of the season.
No, I agree with that 100%. I have to say, I still do feel some kind of way because Houston's not in it.
Oh, boo, boo. No trash cans this year. Boo.
Oh my goodness.
Well, yeah, I don't think the Yankees are going to get past the Blue Jays because the Blue Jays in Tampa Bay are the teams that somehow, some way, find a way to beat the Yankees. Sorry to all you. No, I'm not sorry for all you Boston Red Sox fans talking all that junk. And the Yankees, you let the Yankees come back and beat you without Judge Stanton. So I don't feel sorry for y'all. Y'all going against everybody. I have friends who are Boston Red Sox fans who are just, texting me all up and down, like, yeah, y'all got that big payroll, but y'all can't win. And now they have probably changed their numbers because I can't get in contact with them anymore. So anyway, but it should be interesting between the Cubs and Brewers. But I like the Cubs this year, but I'm not sure they're going to make it past this team, Milwaukee. Milwaukee hates the Cubs and because the Cubs used to call them their baby sister or baby brother, and they took that to heart, and they are game to beat the Cubs, and they're tired of hearing about the Cubs.
No doubt. And you got to think about it from the standpoint of this season, Milwaukee in that division has been pretty dominant for a long time. And you kind of knew that other teams were racing up there trying to get close to them, but they stayed fast, steady, if you will, the whole year for that division. And kudos to them for that.
I know I called it earlier this year when we talked about baseball, but I after the season ended last year with the Dodgers winning, I'm like, it's theirs to win again. If they want it, it's theirs to win again. They're that talented. It's almost like, as the old folks say in the South, they were playing possum during the season and just getting by. But when you see Otani pitching, when you see, all those guys just, playing playoff postseason baseball, Aaron Judge, they know how to put the games together. They know how to win when it's time to win. And this is the money time. This is October. This is where you make your bones. This is where you become legends. And the Yankees, I'm looking for 28 championships, and it's not going to come. It's not going to come. Since 2009, we haven't been there and won it. And now here we are again, and we don't have the players to really kind of get over the hump.
I think you need an old school Reggie Jackson. I watched a clip of him the other night. Reggie Jackson playing in I think a playoff game, hit a home run, and he came around the bases and he was jumping around a little bit, and the pitcher said something to him. He ran out and tackled him, beat the hell out of the pitcher, and then got ejected out the game.
You need some dogs, man. You need dogs in October. You do definitely need dogs. You need the fighting in among players. The Yankees, they fight among each other. They fight the manager. They want to win. You want to
Yeah.
win. These guys over there, they just want to get back on the bench and chew their bubble gum and spit out sunflower seeds, man. Miss me with all that, man. You want to win. I know you make a lot of money, but it doesn't really mean to me. It doesn't mean anything if you got the money and you're not winning the championship. Basically, people are gonna write you off like you're a has-been. You got the money. That's great. That's great. That's great for you. But you're playing for a franchise that's historically have been there and they're about championships. They got 27 more than anybody in the league, and you're wearing the pinstripes. You should play like you're wearing the pinstripes and have some pride. They don't have pride. Those two players in particular don't have pride, and I'm done with it. I'm really done with it. It's like watching a rerun, your rerun that you're watching every year. I'm gonna start calling Aaron Judge Les Nessman. That's when I'm in that episode where he was out in the outfield and his mom's talking to him like, "Come in and play the violin." I want to play baseball. No, you don't want to play baseball. Go play the violin, man.
Wow. Serious Yankees fan, ladies and gentlemen. No,
Yep.
serious Yankees fan.
Let's go to NFL football. We're going to do our picks, the NFL picks a little bit later. And it's been some shuffling in the leaders board, so you want to hang out for that. Last week we did not do a show. I had a lot of work to do and finally got it done. Pardon me for that. But what are some of the games in the NFL that stood out to you, sir? Because I know there's a few of them that stood out for me. Now, I hope you don't take it, because I want to take it, unless you want me to take it first.
You go first.
Arizona, what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you throwing games? What are you doing? And here's what I'm going to say to coaches and NFL teams and college teams. If you have a player who gets to the end zone and drops the ball before they get in the end zone, cut him. That's going to stop this. Cut him. Because they're not thinking about winning a football game. They're thinking about being cute. Now, I know I'm sounding like an old dude here, But when we used to play football, old Fuddy Duddy, we used to play football. You ran through the end zone and you hand the ball to the ref to make sure it's official. All right, maybe these coaches need to start doing that. Hey, you don't spike the ball, you don't do nothing. You hand the ball to the referee so he has the ball and you score. But you see this every week. You see this in the college ranks, you see it in the high school ranks, and you see it in the pros. I'm a big proponent in, got to be disciplined and you play for the team. You want to be cute, that's fine. But another player that does that, man, because that was the ball game right there. That was the ball game. They would have won that football game. They would have won it, ended it. But when another player does that, coaches, please cut them. Suspend them, cut them. Don't let them play because they're not playing for you. They're playing to be cute. Now, I think a player in Indianapolis, he did it twice, right?
I think
Why is
so.
he still in the league? Why? He ain't learned his lesson. Cut him. Have some other team. Have that be another team's problem. Your thoughts, man?
Yeah, no, I agree because I thought that was spot on. I also want to throw a little jab at Kyler Murray, from that standpoint as well. But when I looked at the stats, I also understood why he might be having some troubles. Kyler Murray's been sacked 16 times in 5 games.
Yeah, that's too much.
16 times in 5 games. And you mentioned about it's almost as if their whole team is, I wouldn't say lackadaisical, but they're not mentally strong because they had the game won and it did not work. So I don't know, but 16 times, 16 sacks running for your life can make somebody feel some kind of way.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. You hurting? You in pain? He little man. He ain't no big strong dude, man. Can't take a 16 sack. He little. Protect
16,
him.
5 games, 16 sacks. That's a lot.
And me with the Jets, you got to protect Fields. He's trying to look at his reads, and he only got 1 second to do it. Come on, bro. Come on. And what they're doing, the defensive teams, because I watched the Dallas and Jets game, and what they're doing is they're not allowing him to go through any kind of gaps to get to run. So, and nobody's getting open. And then your Jets defense, it ain't because a lot of people like to blame Justin Fields about everything. Every team he's on, they like to blame him. It ain't him. That defense for the Jets is atrocious. And you got a head coach was the defensive guru. That I don't understand. I texted you yesterday. I'm like, wasn't he a defensive coach? What are they doing? What are they doing? They have no identity. They can't stop anybody. And so that's where they get into the games where they're just scoring back and forth and they're losing. Now the games aren't close anymore. Their defense is trash. Your thoughts, man?
No, I can see that. I am really surprised the factor that Aaron Glenn's team is on 5 because I think there were a couple games that were in, and you just wonder why. Sometimes you see the Jets play real well enough where you think they can earn a victory, and then other times it almost as if they didn't show up. So somewhere in between there, you hope Aaron Glenn turns it around because I think he's can be a decent coach, a really good coach, but you got to have the players that's going to really cooperate, or you got to get the right personnel.
Yeah, and he's gonna be in the press too, talking about, listen, I need protection. Call those guys out. Call them out because it's like, man, they're not giving him. You can see him just looking at his reads. He gets 1 to 2, and that's it. That's it. And there's somebody down his throat, and they're not giving him any running lanes to run. They're not. You're supposed to form a U and let him get in the pocket. They're not even doing that. They can't even handle the guys up front. And sometimes there's only 3 guys coming, and they can't protect them. What are they paying them dudes for?
The Rams. Come on, coach. Come on, coach.
I know that hurt you.
The game is over.
That hurt you.
Okay, how many opportunities when your team falls behind and you keep getting more opportunities, and right when you had an opportunity to do something different, you call a play where you hand the ball off to the same dude that fumbled the ball in the red zone to put you in the position you're in already. And you 4th and 1, and you give it to the same dude like he gonna make a play. Come on, bruh. Really? Come on, coach. I was like, you just wanted them to win. And afterwards, he took his headset off like, oh, well, we'll move on to next week. No, the hell, what do you mean? People got money on the game. People watching the game. We got picks going. There's a lot at stake, coach. The hell wrong with you?
That's
The hell is wrong with
that's
you, bro?
it. That was it right there. I was waiting for that.
Waiting, you got our picks. We believed in you.
Because I can
You
tell
let
when you're really mad, you will text me. When you're really mad about something, I mean, I can see you like,
because it didn't make sense. I didn't watch the game. I said, "Oh, they gonna lose," and then they start coming back, and then I got into it at the late end, and they let me down. I was like, "You've got to be kidding me! Why would you be so incompetent?" Definitely, why would you be incompetent? One other game, I could go all the way on a couple things, but what I noticed is when Denver's win over Philadelphia, earlier we had heard in the week or sometime prior to that about the Philadelphia, a couple wide receivers griping they weren't getting enough balls. So I don't know what the offense coordinator just felt like he just owed it to them to keep everybody happy. So you throw the ball and you give everybody the stuff that they need, and you end up losing the game
yeah,
because you didn't use your regular strategy, was use your bell cow and Barkley at running back. I think he carried the ball maybe 6, 7 times in the first
uh,
half.
6.
And then the second half, he had one carry. You could have won that game. But yeah, you're trying to make everybody happy. Sometimes you need to just tell people, we'll get to you. Sit your down and we'll work through it. And that's why they lost the game. And I say this about Philadelphia, and it's like everybody else, most teams that end up winning the Super Bowl, I think they're full. They're not hungry anymore. They have moments that they can turn it on because they had that kind of talent. But when you win, sometimes you go like, oh, we can get it back. We can always turn it around. We can always turn it on when we want to, right?
Yeah.
That's what we do. We can always turn it on. But some teams are waiting for you, and they can't wait for you to play lackadaisical like they did.
I said a couple of weeks ago when they barely beat Tampa Bay that they were in trouble. And you could see it in Hurt's face that he wasn't happy about how they played. And it showed a lot yesterday. I don't think they're just full. I think everybody's caught up with them and what they're doing. I really truly think that because the NFL is a copycat league and they study you, they study your formations, they study everything, and they start cutting things off. I think it's more of coaching and how we're going to make the adjustments because teams have caught up with you. I think sometimes you think that you could just do the things that you've done the past year and games before, and you get away with it because you think you're Green Bay Packers and you can do that sweep every time you want to do it. The NFL is not like that anymore. They got too many cameras out there. They got too many analysts out there. They got too many analytics out there, and they know exactly what you're going to do when you line up, how you adjust to it, and all this other stuff. So teams have really caught up with them. I still think Philadelphia is a good team. I really do, but they gotta start becoming more creative, and also running the ball a lot more than they did, and that will open up the passing game. It's like they're missing that formula because that's old school football, but it's football. It's a tried and true formula. Run the football, punish that line, and open up the passing game. And a lot of Dallas Cowboys used to do that all the time, and then they would get away from it and they would lose. They would run, then they get pass happy, and then they would lose the game. What's on your mind, bro?
So here's what's on my mind. NBA basketball is about to start. You have the exhibition games coming up. Some people are excited, some people are not. I'm kind of excited because I want to see certain things happen. I want to see the Dallas Mavericks. I want to see are the Lakers going to be great with Luca and all a bunch of other stuff. But anyway, I'm going to take you back. I'm going to take you back to the old school, as they say, because I've been hearing different things when the people talk about different arguments and everybody has an opinion about certain things about who is the goat, and who you think your GOAT is, or who's this kind of guy, or who's the best player in this era, or was this guy good enough to play here? Anyway, I want to give you two players that I think that truly are undervalued. And when you don't have to be, it does not necessarily have to be about being the GOAT, but I'm gonna talk positions. First of all, I'm not gonna talk about Jordan. I'm not gonna talk about Kobe this week. I might say that for next week. I'm gonna go in a different route. I'm gonna talk about the centers. Everybody knows about we talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar because he played for so long. He held the scoring record for a long time, and he was amazing. So you think about that from that standpoint. He averaged 24 points a game for his career, 11 rebounds. He had 6 titles and 6 MVPs. Very impressive. But then you have other people doing the modern day people that talk about Shaquille O'Neal and how great he was, how dominant he was. But really, was he that dominant, or was he just the most strongest person in the world that they could not check or anything like that too? Skill wise, really, what how good was he? And this is just my opinion. You don't have to like it. Look it up. Shaquille O'Neal averaged 23 points per game, 10 rebounds. He won 4 titles and he had 1 MVP. You compare that to Jabbar, you ask yourself, is he even close? He just was one of the strongest people out there. He had his moments, and he played with Kobe Bryant, and he has Phil Jackson as well as his coach. He had a lot of good coaches at some point. Not saying Shaquille O'Neal is not great or good or solid, but I think there are some other people out there that are just a little bit better, in my opinion, which is why I'm going to go to my first undervalued person, and that is Will Chamberlain. Some people would say Will Chamberlain was real big. He was 7'1". He was bigger than everybody, didn't play against anybody. There was no competition. I disagree. He and Bill Russell had some major battles. But what you need to really understand about Will Chamberlain is what he was able to do on the court and also the stats that he put up. So you think about his career. Well, I just told you the other stats of the two other centers. Will Chamberlain averaged 30 points a game, 22 rebounds. 30 and 22. I don't care when you play. 30 and 22 is dominant. He had 2 titles and 4 MVPs. 30 and 22. Psh, bruh, miss me with that. So all y'all talk about these great centers, 30 and 22 stand anytime. And he probably would average 70 because they don't play no damn defense today if he played. That's how strong he was. Anyway, that's my first person. The other person, I'm gonna go a different route because we talk about different players that can play. And unfortunately, because this is, I know y'all don't want to say it, but I know y'all whispering it. I know you whispering it, so I'm gonna bring it out to the forefront. And it just so happens that this person is a great player regardless. He's having to be white. So I know y'all talking about who's the greatest white player of all time. I'm bringing it out. I'm bringing it out because everybody's like, why would you say so? It's not about anything. Larry Bird is great no matter what, okay? That's what I'm going to talk about. But it just so happens that a lot of people talk about whatever. So we're going to put it on the bottom line. Who do you consider the greatest white player that happens to be white of all time? So here we go. First, let's start with the logo, Jerry West. Jerry West is the logo. Jerry West is everywhere. Jerry West was an amazing player. Jerry West averaged 27 points a game, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists. Jerry West won 1 title, and he won no MVPs. By himself, he was amazing. It's like George Garvin, Pistol Pete Maravich, a lot of great players. But by himself, that's who he was. Then other people want to talk about Dirk Nowitzki, that played for the Dallas Mavericks, and he played for 20 years, and how amazing he was. Dirk Nowitzki averaged 20 points a game. He had 1 MVP, and he won 1 title. And they want to put him up there as he top 20 all time. And some people say he's top 10, which means you got to be better than Larry Bird, right? And then there's Larry Bird. And I've been watching Larry Bird when he was at Indiana State, his senior year. That's when I first saw Larry Bird. It was amazing. He kept coming up and doing some amazing things. But in the NBA, the way it works is this way. First of all, Larry Bird shot 49% from the field for his career. Think about that. He had half his shots he took. He's shooting from three. He was shooting all kind of crazy shots. 50%. I think Gervin had averaged he had shot 50% from the field as well, or close to it. That's an amazing feat in itself. Larry Bird he won 3 titles. Larry Bird won 3 MVPs, right? So you thinking of it from that standpoint. Larry Bird only played in 897 games. He didn't play in 1,000 games. Okay, he's like, oh, well, that's okay. But here's the killer. Here's the one. Here's the stat that you know, and y'all can say be mad if you want to. He was the greatest player. And I'm just not saying like it mattered race-wise, but it's just what it is. He's the greatest white player all time. And I said it because you thinking about it. You done talked about it at your house. You done talked at the barbershop, and you've been whispering to people so you want to piss nobody off. I'm gonna give it to you. Larry Bird averaged 24 points a game and 10 rebounds and 6 assists. And yeah, he played during the era of Jordan when Jared Jordan for 7 years struggled before he could even sniff any type of titles. And Larry Bird made other people better. That's what made him amazing. Again, let me get that for you. 24 points a game, 10 rebounds and 6 assists. And he said the one thing that is going to really piss some of y'all off, I don't care, I'm just going to tell the truth. He said, one thing Larry Bird said, the one thing he hated more than anything in basketball is when he got disrespected when they put a white guy on him to check him. They would send white guys over to check him, and he asked them why they do that to you. And he would commence to destroy them because he felt like he knew, Larry Bird knew, he didn't even care about, he said, I'll never say I'm the greatest player of all time, but I belong in the conversation that I belong here. He said the black players are the best players, and that's okay with me. I just want you to know I'm the baddest mother that does not have that melanin. But he said every time they put a white guy on him, he asked you why they do that to you. And he would proceed to torch them. Larry Bird was a round-the-way guy, just an easygoing guy. He was a trash man at one point. Dad went through poverty, everything. Also, last point on this, Larry Bird, at one point in his freshman year, was enrolled at the University of Indiana under the great Bobby Knight. Bobby Knight did everything he could to keep him to stay. Larry Bird said it's just too big for me because I go back to French Lick because that's what I know. And of course, he moved on and did some great things. But again, Larry Joe Bird, check him out.
Yeah, I thought you were going to mention John Havlicek. That's what I thought when we talked earlier in the show. But that was a bad boy too. He's
He
bad.
was. He ain't got the numbers, baby. 24 and 10 and 6.
Yeah, he didn't have those numbers, but yeah, Hondo was at Ohio State. The
Oh
Ohio.
yeah, without former black guy, all love, but you just gotta. Bird was, bruh, Bird, ugh,
All right,
Bird.
let's go to last second shots. I'm gonna do mine first because this is a special one. And there's a young lady from Mexico. Her name is Lorena Ramirez, who runs the 50K races, mountain races, international mountain races. And she doesn't run them in sneakers, and she's not sponsored by any shoe company. She runs them in her sandals. And what's impressive about her, she's won this race a number of times. What's impressive, it's a 7 hour race. What's impressive about her is that she went up against 500 different runners from 12 different countries. And the shoe companies want her bad. They want to sponsor her in the shoes. They're like, nope, because everybody else runs in those shoes. I want to run in what's helping me win. And I admire that. So in the day and age where everybody's selling out and millions of dollars on all these shoes, she's doing it the traditional way. Her tradition, the resilience, the strength, the natural strength she has. I got to give kudos to that because she hasn't wavered whatsoever. They're simple leather sandals, and she's just blowing them away. And the sneaker companies are probably upset because they put a lot in those sneakers, but I don't. She's like, I don't need to wear them. I'll win them races. Your last second shot, man.
Yeah, I'm all over the place. I gave you this long soliloquy about Larry Bird, and some of you may like it, some of you may not. But now I want to talk a little bit about college basketball, men's college basketball. I can say women's too, but men's college basketball. I was looking at a couple previews, and there are going to be some dynamite teams coming up. Houston is going to be right back where they were. They got a couple guards back. They have a large contingent of nice young players coming in, a recruiting class. Duke, of course, is going to be top notch as
They're always
well.
loaded.
Yeah, but they're going to be really loaded because you got a couple guys from overseas. I think you got the Boozer twins are coming
When is it coming? Yeah.
in? Yeah, I think the Boozer twins are coming in and they are just loaded. So it'll be exciting to watch. I think Baylor's going to be a really good team this year. Kansas is trying to reload, even though I don't really love the team up north. University of Michigan is going to be loaded. They're going to be loaded too. There are a lot of teams. Of course, Auburn. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Bruce Pearl leaving and his son taking over. They had a stacked squad as well, as far as recruits coming in. Arkansas, Brigham Young as well is going to be making noise. Also, you can never forget about UConn. UConn is going to make some noise too. But the point of it is, after last year's tournament, which I thought was amazing, it was back and forth and whatnot. I think we're going to be selling in for another a great season. I'll also tell you this: early on, there are some amazing matchups in November with some of the top teams playing one another. So definitely we'll keep you abreast of that schedule. But check it out. And of course, on the women's side, they're going to go after it too. I'm looking forward to that as well. But college basketball is back. I love it. It's going to be interesting. See a lot of teams trying to scrap. Think about too, the new coach down at Miami is going to be down there making some things happen too. So exciting basketball. Because even though they have NIL, they still play hard and they play for the definitely the letters on their chest and for the pride of the game.
And that's what you're supposed to do, professional sports. He's Icewater. I'm Puma. See you next week.